Hello Stablebox and welcome to yet another video. Now, as we know, we have now been plunged into the hiatus. We've been in here for a few months now. I think we've settled in comfortably. But as with every hiatus, there is literally no news apart from, the big whole Jodie Whittaker thing, but that's old now, who cares about that? So now we are just in a deep, deep pit, a chasm, if you will, of just nothingness. And as it goes with every chasm of nothingness, goes a void of no ideas. So I'm going to have to indulge into the realms. I'm going to have to delve into the realms of lists. I know, I'm sorry, but, desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm hoping to pull myself out the ground soon. I just hope that you'd all support me in this, I'm sorry I can't. Series 10, that was the last thing that really happened. The big thing, the big thing was Jodie Whittaker, but as I say. So I'm thinking, Series 10, it was a strong series. I remember it being good, but what were the best bits of Series 10? I know the answer is, Nardole, but, more broad than that. So let's stop waffling on and actually get into the sweet, sweet, delicious content. In a particular order, from oh yeah, this was good, to this was fucking sweet. Finding Pavel's body in Knock Knock. Now, Knock Knock was an episode which I enjoyed. I generally did enjoy it, albeit the ending did let it down. I think that is what put it down in the rankings for a lot of people. But I think that the build-up was good, and just because the ending was shoddy, you shouldn't just ignore the build-up. Of course, it lessens the effect of the build-up, but it's still there, it still affected it, it still made you anticipate a good ending, and even though that ending wasn't good, it done its job for making you anticipate the ending, and it's the ending's own fault for being a bit shit. But I'm not here to talk about how shit the ending was. I'm here to talk about that one very nice scene where they find him in the wall. Everything, the tension building up to this scene was incredible. From the record, the scratch record, playing that like sort of ominous, eerie violin string music. That's not what was playing, but by all means, imagine it was. It was the first creepy, real episode of the series, and it really delivered on that front, because it had me on the edge of my seat for what they were going to find in the room, because I think it was no mystery that he'd gone missing or he was dead, but the way it was executed, it caught us unawares when we were completely expecting what was coming. And I think it's massive props to the special effects and makeup artists, because the way they've implanted his body into the wall, it was incredible. And my only regret is that I didn't go to the doctor experience when that sort of piece was up. You could put your face in it and pretend you're in the wall, because that is a good bit. Next on the list, the pilot when Bill enters the TARDIS for the first time. But the reason I've got specifically the moment where she enters the TARDIS for the first time is because it was the first real time we had that new experience for us in a long time, because the last time we had a new companion, it was with Clara, and her reaction to the TARDIS wasn't new, it didn't feel fresh, it didn't give us that new breath of life, it was just trying to be funny, like, oh, it's smaller on the outside, and the whole joke was, haha, people don't usually say that. With Bill, you saw her turn around and you had that brilliant shot where the camera swooped through the TARDIS set, and like the effort that they went into getting that shot, it was incredible, and it really gave you that new breath of life as that camera drew back and the lights all turned on and you saw the TARDIS for what felt like could be the first time. You sort of took that breath in and you thought, we're back, babes. Because remember, Doctor Who took a fucking year hiatus before this series. I think some of us may forget that, or maybe we don't. I don't forget that drought. So seeing that for new and seeing it all fresh, and not just, hey, here is the set which you have always seen, introducing it in a new way with this new life and this new air, even though the set hadn't changed, it felt like a new experience, and that is good. Next on the list is Pyramid at the End of the World, from what was an abysmal trilogy which really sinks Series 10 to not quite the best in New Who, the fucking Monk trilogy, I swear to God. But Pyramid in the End of the World was the strongest episode in that trilogy, and the strongest scene in that strongest episode was right at the end, because that was what it was all building up to, and it was honestly a cliffhanger which made me think, oh my god, what's going to happen next week? Let's not talk about what did happen next week, but it just made me feel, and I always remember that feel, and I love that feel, and it's when Bill consented to the monks to like give them power and for them to give the Doctor his eyesight back. I think that truly was when you could see that Bill and the Doctor's relationship had peaked, because this was midway through the series and you saw their relationship building up from just a teacher-student relationship to now they are close friends, and Bill would literally give the world to save the Doctor, and just seeing that pinnacle of that relationship bonding was a good thing. You also had that scene connected in with the Doctor trapped in the laboratory trying to get out. That also added to the tension, and I think that also provided the scene to be as good as it could get, which was good. It was a lovely scene, because, I mean, it was dramatic, it was tension, it was sort of heartfelt, it was emotional, but you also had this impending doom, and you sort of, really when you start to question Bill's character, because she was likeable up until this, but it's those questionable things, those things which she's doing for good, but she's putting everyone else in danger. It's when you have to question a character's motives which truly brings a character to good quality, which is, you know, big up who wrote that. Moffat, maybe? Big up Moffat. Never thought I'd say that. Hey, let's have an intermission. Let's cut away from the best scenes in Series 10 to talk about the worst, because I haven't been moaning enough this video. With this, I'm going to spice up the table with a little controversial opinion. That scene in The Doctor Falls at the end, when, like, Bill's gone and Nala's gone and the Doctor's just laying there on his own, he thinks he's going to die, then he comes up and you've got this Doctor, he's like, oh, and then he says this load of stuff, and it's just before the TARDIS lands and takes him to the First Doctor. That bit, you know what I'm saying, he says all his quotes. He starts off with Sontarans perverting the course of history or something, then he goes on to I Don't Want to Go, then it's When the Doctor Was Me, and everyone's like, oh wow, Capaldi performs it so great, oh that's so emotional to connect with his last things, and I'm like, yeah, he does perform it great, he does give those lines a little bit more something to when he performs it, but from a writing standpoint, there is nothing original there. The Doctor thing, that's from like the Fourth Doctor's regeneration, and partly from the Fifth Doctor's regeneration when he's hearing all his previous companions. Sontarans perversing the course of human history, that's from the first episode of Robot, I Don't Want to Go, obviously End of Time, and When the Doctor Was Me was from Name of the Doctor, or Time of the Doctor, or Something of the Doctor. There was nothing original to that script there. Only like a selection of those, only one of those Moffat originally wrote, and he's just reusing that, but he's also reusing writers' other works. You're not giving Capaldi anything there. You're not giving Capaldi, well, you're giving Capaldi something, but you're not giving the 12th Doctor something. You're not giving Capaldi's Doctor something. Because when you think of those, you think, oh yeah, it's Tom Baker. Oh yeah, that's David Tennant. Oh yeah, Matt Smith. What are you going to hear that makes you think of Peter Capaldi? He's got no, especially in that bit, that would have been a brilliant time to give him and truly iconic, not a fucking promo image for Dr. Mysterio iconic, but proper iconic thing, which when you hear it in the future you think, ah yeah, that's the 12th Doctor, that's Peter Capaldi. You're just giving him other Doctors things. There's nothing for him there. There's nothing original for him. There's nothing that he can mark as his own if you're just going to give him other people's lines. And I suppose that you do give him these speeches and stuff, but you're not just going to recite a speech and think the 12th Doctor. You want a snappy, nice, I am the Doctor thing, especially with that thing that really defined the Doctor Falls. I'm the Doctor, the original, you might say. That's from the 4th Doctor and the 1st Doctor and 5 Doctors. I mean, that's nothing. You're not giving Capaldi anything original. You're just taking from previous scripts and adjusting it to him. And I know it's applicable because it's an original character, but fuck me. Just give him something of his own and don't reuse things. That's my controversial opinion. Back to the video. The final two things come from the two-part finale, because it's the finale, of course the best scene's going to be in there. Wold Enough in Time, when Bill goes into the operating theatre with all the cyber patients, and she's following this noise of pain, pain, pain. When you see it's these masked, like, sort of distorted, like, patients, you know that there's, like, messed up behind those masks, but they're all in cloth. That's creepy enough. But you hear them like typing out pain in this robotic voice with no emotion, truly the like earliest of the Cybermen. And then the nurse comes in, turns the volume down, and it just turns out that she hasn't solved the pain, she's just silenced them, and they're all just silently screaming, "Kill me!" That really hit home when she turned the volume up and he was saying, "Kill me!" Christ! Similar to them finding Pavel's body in Knock Knock. the tension for that and the payoff, especially, which is something Not lacked, was incredible. I'd say that is the scariest part of Doctor Who, if not the scariest part of Moffat's era, if not the scariest part since the revival. I'm going to push it that far. But hey, if I hold it in that much regard, why isn't it number one? I'll tell you for why. My number one is in The Doctor Falls, and it is when Missy and the Master kill each other. Now, John Simm's Master, it's no sort of secret that he was underused in The Doctor Falls, but I think it was worth it just for this scene to see his conflict with Missy about helping the Doctor, because obviously Missy has been through a arc in Series 10, and she's become sort of good. And seeing her future conflict with her past, and seeing them literally kill each other, both for different motives, but still in the very Master way, still with that central character, but with differing motives in a way, that is... I love that scene so much, especially when you remember that they aren't two different people, they are the same person, and she's literally arguing with herself, and it's sort of this conscious thing for herself. She is her own angel and John Simm's Master is the devil, and it's this sort of self-inner conflict of whether to stick with her evil and sort of psychopathic roots or be more helpful and live for something and stand with the Doctor. And having that payoff of them both killing each other was the perfect way to end it. Will she survive? Who knows? Chibbers can sort that one out. But yeah, that's the end of that. Those are my favourite scenes from Series 10. I'm getting hot now because I'm sitting in like a boiling room with a blazer on. Have a fun one. What are your favourite scenes from Series 10? Comment below so I can ignore them, because I really, But yeah, hopefully I can say the same with Series 11. There'll be good scenes in that. I mean, there will be good scenes in that. There'll hopefully be good scenes. Let's not think about that for now. Just have a nice day and goodbye.